that servant leadership also has its rewards as well. So our motive for leadership it's the opposite. It's like we flip the world on its ear, right? Because our motive is not the same as the world's, it's the opposite. We lead because we serve. And that's what Jesus has called us to do. And then just kind of some final thoughts just to wrap up. Leadership is not an overnight thing necessarily, right? How does a leader become a leader? And God, I believe, is looking for three things. First of all, leaders after his own heart. You remember 1 Samuel 13:14, where God speaks to Saul through Samuel. And he says, "But now your kingdom will not endure anymore. The Lord has sought out a man after his own heart and appointed him as ruler of his people, because you have not kept the Lord's commands." And he brought David up as that leader after God's own heart. That's what God is looking for. People that are after his heart. Second, leaders of character. Jeremiah 5:1. "Go up and down the streets of Jerusalem. Look around and consider. Search through her squares. If you can find but one person who deals honestly and seeks the truth, I will forgive this city." One person. Honesty, truth. God is looking for people of character. And then finally, the Lord is looking for those who actually will do the work that needs to be done. Ezekiel 22:30, it says this, "I looked for someone among them who would build up the wall and stand before me in the gap on behalf of the land, so that I would not have to destroy it, but I found no one." God is looking for someone who will build the wall. All of us can do this. Every great leader that I can think of in my mind, what they did is they saw a need. They saw a wall that was broken down and needed repair. And they began building the wall. And sometimes, we don't know what to do or how to do it, but we just start doing it, and that's what needs to be done. Because all of a sudden, that's when other people start coming. And they're like, "Oh, well, we'll help build the wall." And we can inspire others to build the wall, right? And all of a sudden, you've got a movement, and you've got a wall that's there. The other thing that it says is really interesting to me. And that's that he's looking for somebody to stand in the gap. Now, what does this mean? Because there's the wall. The wall apparently has a gap already, right? That's why we build a wall, because there's a gap. There needs to be something physical there. I truly believe that when it says stand in the gap, when the wall is built, that doesn't mean that the weaknesses and the vulnerabilities aren't there. That doesn't mean that the job is done. And for us as believers especially, we know that there are times where we have to step in and we have to stand in the gap. And many times we understand that before the Lord, it says, right? Stand before me in the gap. That means we have to come to the Lord and we have to ask him for mediation in those areas of weakness and vulnerability that still exist. We have to stand in the gap. He's looking for those that will build, that will do the physical work that has to be done, the practical stuff that has to be done, but then those that will stand in the gap as well. Let's all stand together.